And the subject for today, we're talking about tips and tricks for neurodivergent people for success. I have 3 things for you all. All right, so the first tip and trick for success as a neurodivergent individual, you have to get a routine / a system. This is so important. You need to get a routine / system. It doesn't have to be an elaborate routine. It doesn't have to be an elaborate system, but you need to have somewhat of a system so that way when things go wrong, you can identify what went wrong and you can correct it. Keep in mind that, take ADHD for example. If you have ADHD, it's going to be hard to keep things up. So you might come up with a system, and guess what? After a while, you let it go. You said you were going to go to the gym or whatever, and then you dropped off. You said you were going to take yoga classes, and after a while, you dropped off or whatever. That's fine. That's fine. Don't judge yourself. Whenever you can get back on track, that's fine. But you should always have some type of system or a routine that you're aiming towards, right? You have to monitor how you feel about yourself. This is very important for a couple of reasons. I believe that if you're neurodivergent, you are going to be more susceptible to things like abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, abuse within relationships, gaslighting, narcissistic abuse. Because if you've been masking your whole life and you're trying to get away from that, you're trying to figure out how you feel about yourself. You're still trying to figure out who you are, and then you're trying to love the person that you're learning that you are, right? If that makes sense. You're learning who you are as a little bit later than the average neurotypical person because you've had to mask and it's been so difficult. So you need to know how you feel about yourself and make sure that when you don't feel good about yourself, you take a break, you challenge those negative thoughts, get them out of your head, and focus on ways to improve your self-esteem. Because when your self-esteem is low and you're just kind of like, when you do this, you give people the license to just step on you. And people may step on you and manipulate you, and they may not even do it on purpose, right? They're dealing with their own trauma and their insecurities. So we can't judge them. But if people are being mean to us and abusive, we got to get away. We got to get away. So it's very important to know how you feel about yourself. You got to know how you feel about yourself. Set boundaries and stand on business. Please stand on your boundaries. With boundaries, we don't negotiate with boundaries, right? And y'all can give me an example of things that are boundaries for you. Like there's so many things that I have that are boundaries. For example, let's say if I'm dating somebody, right, and we're going back and forth, and they say, "I'll let you know." I don't accept "I'll let you know." I'm like, "Oh, well, we're busy. Let's reconvene and find another time." But if they can't deal with that, all right, that's fine. Maybe we just shouldn't proceed with this. Another boundary that I have is when I go to these public events or these events out here in LA, I don't like giving my number out. And that's because I used to give my number out. Oh, let's talk business. I've trusted a lot of people. I've lost thousands of dollars working with people. And I'm like, these people don't have a good spirit. So now I'm pulling back. I don't want to give my number out. So I'll go to an event. Oh, follow me on Instagram. Send me a message. Send me an email. Oh, but it'd be good if I got your number. Yes, but I'm not comfortable giving my number out. I don't want to give my number out. Send me email or DM me, and then we can talk. Oh, well, then I can't. Then we can't talk. I'm sorry. And for those of us who are neurodivergent, a lot of times, especially in the autistic community, this thing where you mirror other people's personality and you mask so that you can fit in. And a lot of times you want to fit in so that way you don't take up space in the room and people don't realize that you're different. You want to just kind of go along with everything and make people feel comfortable. And like, you don't want to make a big deal of anything, right? So a lot of times you mirror people, you do things that you don't want to do, and everything is kind of set up for you to just make the situation peaceful. So in that situation, if somebody's like, "Oh, come on out with us and we're going to drink, we're going to get messed up," and you're like, "I don't like to drink," you might be like, "Oh yeah, I'll come through." You don't want to do it, but you want to fit in. You don't want to be ostracized, right? So a lot of times you do certain things, and the issue with this is when you make decisions that you're not sure if you wanted to do it, it could lead to a lot of regret after the fact. Regret over time, in my opinion, is one of the quickest ways to fall into depression, right? So it's important to know that what we're feeling in the moment is actually what we want to feel. But if you don't know what you're feeling in the moment and you're not sure how to proceed, you can just pause and say, "I need some time to think. I'm not sure, right?" But a lot of times people will pressure you to things that you don't want to do, but you do it just because you don't want to argue. It's just less of a headache to argue with them and go back and forth. So you have to set boundaries.